So right now we are 10 games into the National League North and National League South seasons. The teams in these leagues have pretty much, bar a couple, all played 10 matches. So it's after this sort of point that you can really gauge who's going to do what this season. So far, there have been plenty of teams that have overachieved as well as underachieved. We're looking at the top 5 overachievers and the top 5 underachievers so far in the top 2 tiers. First of all, this video is sponsored by OneFootball, which is a great way to stay up to date with loads of different information from different matches across the footballing world, be it in non-league in the National League or up into the Football League and the Premier League. There's lots of different ways that you can use the OneFootball app to stay up to date with lots of information, which is why it is an app that I do recommend. It's got an average rating of 4.7 and 4.8 on Apple and Android, so there's a lot of people that do like the app, with over 1 million people voting for their rating on Android in particular. If you haven't downloaded it already, the link to download it will be in the top line of the description. We start with the overachievers, and the first one is the current top of the table side in the National League. It is Woking. They sit in first with 23 points. That's 7 wins and 2 draws and just 1 loss. This is a newly promoted side from the National League South. They didn't even win the league in the National League South. They got up through the playoffs, but they've taken to the National League like a duck to water, despite actually dropping out of the National League the season before last. They've been in the National League for a number of seasons consecutively, and they have started absolutely brilliantly. It's led to their manager, Alan Dowson, and defender Ben Gearing winning the Manager and Player of the Month awards for August 2019. Second overachiever is the team that's currently top of the National League North. It is Kings Lynn Town. It's another team that was promoted by the playoffs from the league below in the previous season. Kings Lynn coming through the gruelling Super Playoffs after finishing in the playoff zone in the Southern League Central. They're currently on the same number of points as Woking, 23 points with an identical record, and the manager Ian Culverhouse has been linked with the vacant Lincoln City manager's job, which shows how well they have been doing. FC Halifax Town in the National League have also overachieved so far and started so brightly and done a lot better than I ever thought they would do in the first 10 games, especially after losing their manager during pre-season. They've appointed Pete Wild, and he has started unbelievably well. They sit in second position in the National League, just 1 point behind leaders Woking. The fourth one is another team that's right up in the top of the National League. It's Maidenhead United, and they're serial overachievers in my opinion. Alan Devonshire's doing a fantastic job there for a number of years and kept them in the National League for the last few years. And this season, they seem to be really kicking on. They're up in 4th place at the minute on 17 points, which for a team that's part-time and on paper doesn't have the most fantastic squad compared to some of the other ones in the National League, especially compared to the money that's spent in the National League. They're doing so well to be up in 4th. Number 5 is the highest point scoring team in the 3 leagues. It's Wealdstone, who are top of the National League South, unsurprisingly, after picking up 27 points from an opening 30 possible. 9 wins out of 10, including the previous 8 wins in a row. What an unbelievable record that is. Dean Brennan, manager, has won the Manager of the Month award for the National League South for August, as well as their striker Ross Lafayette. He scored 7 goals this season so far, and he's won the Player of the Month award. Their only loss has come in a 1-0 defeat on the second game of the season to Dulwich Hamlet, but ever since, they have not looked back. They've absolutely flown out of the blocks. If you're enjoying this video so far, let me know in the comment section down below and hit that like button as well. Let me know if you want to see more videos like this one. But let's get straight on to the biggest underachievers in the first 10 league games. So the first one, a main real standout one, is Chesterfield, who sit bottom of the National League with no wins from their first 10 games. Just 5 points from 5 draws as well as 5 losses. That, for such a big club, such a big stadium, such a big budget, such a well-experienced squad. John Sheridan as well as their manager, a very experienced manager. I'm so surprised to see them so low down in the league. I don't know whether it's just the weight of expectation getting them down too much, or maybe there's something going on behind the scenes that we don't know about that's making it a lot harder to produce results than you would expect. Because last season, they did not do particularly well either. They were in the bottom half of the table, and that's pretty much continued this season, but got even worse despite a couple of really decent looking summer signings, like of Anthony Gerrard, who's got hundreds of Football League and Premier League appearances in his career. So I'm surprised that they are doing so poorly this season. This has all kind of culminated with some really ugly scenes following their last match away at Bromley. They lost that one 2-1, and it saw some of the players clash with the fans after the match. It's not good to see, and it really is a sign of a team that is really struggling. Another team that is struggling compared to last season is AFC Fylde, who finished at the playoff final stage last season. They got to Wembley but lost to Salford. And that hangover, they've not really got over that yet by the looks of things. They sit in 20th position, which is a big contrast to how they've been in the last couple of years after getting into the National League. It's the first season where they've really moved backwards. Obviously, there's still a long way to go, and they have made some really good signings, I thought, over the summer. The likes of Mark Yates coming in from Eastleigh was a real statement, as well as a number of other really decent-looking signings. For some reason, it hasn't worked, and with the rumours that Danny Rowe, their star man, arguably the best player in non-league, has handed in a transfer request, it could potentially be a little bit worrying if you are an AFC Fylde fan. Another team who's got a potential playoff failure hangover is Spennymoor Town, who got to the National League North playoff final last season, and they've started this season pretty much in a similar fashion to that of AFC Fylde. They currently sit right down in the 19th position in the National League North table with just 2 victories so far. They've actually had a couple of their opening home matches postponed due to the ongoing work on their pitch, so that's already put them at a disadvantage and left them behind everyone else in the fixture schedule. But games that they have played, it took them 6 games to actually get their first victory. Their most recent game, though, was a 5-0 victory over bottom side Blythe Spartans. They could say they're even bigger underachievers, sitting bottom of the table despite getting into the playoffs last season, but we kind of knew they would be a lot lower down with their budget cut and a lot of their players leaving. That's why I think Spennymoor are more of a bigger underachiever, because their squad has pretty much stayed and they've actually strengthened their squad as well. I'm just surprised to see them sit so low down. Another team that hasn't quite made it to 10 league games so far is Wrexham. You've actually only played 9 games because they played 1 game in the Scottish Challenge Cup facing Ayr United and actually winning that game. That was only taking place on the weekend just gone. But prior to that, they played 9 games, and their manager Brian Hughes is under a bit of pressure. The fans are starting to call for him to be dismissed because they are sitting down in the bottom half of the table. One of the most highly supported clubs in non-league football, but they are currently in 18th position, and their squad to me does look decent, so they should be doing a lot better than that on paper. The final underachiever is Dartford in the National League South, and over the last few years they've been a consistent challenger up near the top. They've got into the playoffs for a number of years since dropping out of the National League a few years ago. But last season was a mid-table finish for the first time, and this season has gone even worse so far. They sit just 1 place above the relegation zone in 20th. They've got just 7 points on the board, including just 1 win. So things aren't looking particularly rosy there. But let me know what your thoughts are of your team's start to the season in non-league in the comment section down below. Have you started well? If you enjoyed this video, remember to hit that like button and click subscribe as well to stay up to date with lots of different content from non-league football. I hope to see you in the next video, and thanks for watching.